What's up, guys? Welcome to the channel. Today I'm going to be unboxing and basically mounting and balancing the Canon M50 on this right here, the ronin-sc. So without further ado, let's get going. I have not opened this. I literally ordered this, I don't know, 2 months ago, so it's been sitting here waiting for me to unbox this so that I can review this. Let's see what's the best way to take this off. I'll just start here. Oh. Once it's open, it's open. And there we go. Pretty nice. So let's see. Let's flip this around. What do we have here? It's the typical manual paperwork stuff. We have the screws and hardware that we're going to need to basically put this thing together. We have a plate here, which I believe is used to balance your lens if you have a big lens on your camera. This also helps to balance out your lens if you have a bigger lens. So the lens just sits right here. And here we have some plugs, wires. This is the bottom of the gimbal, which expands and allows you to sit it so that it can just stand on its own. This is, let's see, the actual base, which is the handle also for the gimbal. This is for your phone. If you want to connect your phone and use it in various ways with this gimbal, it has that feature, which is pretty cool. Let's see what we have left. We have the riser here, and is that it? Here we have the actual gimbal itself, the main piece, the body. Feels great. I'm not sure what this is made of, but I would guess it's aluminum. Looks pretty darn nice. So let's move this off the table so we can take a good look at all the pieces that we have here. And there we have it. So next I'm going to actually put this thing together. So let's take this piece of plastic off, and like I said, this thing expands into sort of like a tripod, which allows you to stand it wherever you want, as you can see. This is the handle, and what we do here is slide this on. Let's make sure it's not locked. Wrong side. Let me take this piece of plastic off here. What we want to do is slide this on, make sure it's not on lock. There we go. And then we lock it, as you can see right here. And we just bolt this thing into here for the base, as you can see. And then if we just want to sit this down, we do exactly this, which is pretty cool. So let's see what we have next. The next steps are going to be actually assembling the Canon M50 with these plates so that we can put that on there on the gimbal and try to balance it. We're not going to use these cables right now, so I'm just going to move this to the side. I'm going to go get my Canon M50, and then we're going to balance it on the gimbal. Alright guys, so here we are. We are now about to put this plate on the Canon M50. So the way we're going to do this is first make sure that we have all our hardware. So I have a screwdriver here, a flathead. I have the 2 screws that I'm going to need with the riser plate. as well as the quick release plate that we're going to use, and this support Y hardware little thing here that's made out of plastic that we're going to need to actually mount onto the lens to make sure that we give the lens extra support. So quick tip to begin with, the first thing you want to do is actually, let's say, grab the riser plate and start to screw this in beforehand. You'll see why in a second. It'll give us an advantage when trying to actually screw this on. So I'm going to grab the camera now, and I'm going to position this where it needs to be. And because I've already screwed that in there, it was easy for me to turn this and find the right location. Then all I got to do is tighten this. Now, you can straighten it a little bit to make sure that it's straight and then tighten it all the way. And we want to do the same thing with the release plate here. So we want to put this here on the bottom and start to screw this in. And now that we have that screwed in, we set that up here with the back. There is another screw hole here. And we do the same thing. And as you can see, that was very easy. And then you can start tightening it up. Adjust it. Make sure that it's straight. And then tighten it all the way. The last thing that we want to do is attach this support. But we want to attach this here to the front of the camera. And we want to do the same thing. So let's put the little knob here. You can see that right there. Then we can start to turn. And once it's locked in, you start to screw it tighter. When it looks like it's starting to tighten up, then you can push this support up against the lens. And then we tighten once again. And there you have it. We have the plate with the riser and this support thingy for the lens. And now we're ready to work with the gimbal. So I'm not gonna lie to you, this is quite difficult. This is the first time that I've set up a gimbal. And so you're gonna go through that process with me now. And the first thing that I'm going to say is that it was not discussed in another video that I watched. The first thing you want to do is make sure that the gimbal itself is in the right position. I actually tried to mount the camera on here while the gimbal was locked on all the positions, and I got lost. And so let's go ahead and do that. You want to unlock this right here. And now you see this is swinging. And the other thing that you want to unlock is this side here. And you want to make sure that goes up to about the middle there and lock it again. And you can see it locks itself. And now you have the gimbal in the exact position that you need to be. So let's lock, I think this is called the tilt axis. So let's lock that. The roll is already locked. I believe that's what it's called. Let me make sure I tighten this. And then what we want to do is we want to put the camera on this slide right here. But another quick tip, there is a twisty knob here that either releases pressure or adds pressure to tighten this plate. You have to loosen this up. That is another spot where I got stuck and could not get this thing for the life of me to slide on there. Alright, so now I got the proper angle that I want. So we're going to try to set this up live on camera. So I have everything locked right now, and the first thing we're going to do is we're going to slide this on here. So remember, we have to make sure that that plate, not the plate, but this knob here is loosened up. Otherwise, it would not let you slide that on. So now we have that on there. And the first thing we want to do is actually release the tilt lock. So let's do that. And as you can see, the camera there is starting to tilt forward, and if I push it back, it goes back. What we want to do is get this to sit in the middle. So that's what we're going to do. Let's adjust this. Make sure we loosen this up so that we can slide that. And it's going forward too much, so we're going to push it back now. It's slowing down, as you can see. And now it's going backwards. So we got to inch it forward. Inch it forward. Some more. Now we see it's really slowing down, so just a little more. Now it's going backwards, so let's push it a little bit back. And there, it's stabilized. It's no longer moving back or forward. So what we want to do is lock this right here. And there's this little knob here that allows you to kind of lock in the position where you set this so that the next time you put it on your gimbal, you don't have to adjust it again. Now the next thing we're going to do is actually unlock this axis here. And what we should see is that the camera is either going to swing this way or that way. And what we have to do is position this properly here, excuse me. It's still a little off, but I'm going through the process. You can fine tune it based on what I showed you, going back and forth, back and forth. For this scenario, what we want to do is make sure that we line this up here properly so that it doesn't swing. So let's go ahead and lock this first. And let's unlock this one. And as you can see, it's tilting. It's tilting to my left. That might be your right. So now let's loosen this up again and make sure that we counterweight that. Now it's tilting the other way, so I went too far. Loosen that up a little more. And there we go. Now that is no longer swinging left or right. So we also want to lock this here now. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to also unlock the tilt position here to see if it starts going forward or backward. And if it doesn't, I got to readjust the plate here on the top. And it is, so let's readjust that. It's going forward. So let's push it back a little. Too much. A little more. And there we go. So now we tying that back up. Find that little position again and lock it in. And there we have it. So the next thing we want to do now is we are going to unlock the tilt and let it face up. In this scenario, I can't let it go all the way because my microphone gets in the way. So to get around that, we have to try to get the camera to lean in at an angle like this. And once it does that, then we know we're good. Well, looks like it's already there. It doesn't lean all the way back, right? If you see here, if I let this go back, it's gonna bump into this, to the microphone. So the fact that it can lean a little bit backwards and not completely fall backwards tells me that this is fine. You're supposed to level it out like this, but I would have to take the microphone off for that. And I don't want to do that because I'm going to use the gimbal with the microphone. The last thing we want to check is on the base here. I forget what this is called. I'll put the name up in a graphic. What we want to do is unlock that. Whoops. What we want to do is unlock that, and we want to tilt this sideways a little bit. And if the gimbal swings around, that means that that portion is not stabilized. So let's go ahead and unlock this. We have the button right here. So we unlock that. Now if I tilt this sideways, you see what happens? That means it's not stabilized. The way to stabilize this one is same situation. You got a slider, you got this knob which you need to loosen up, and you likely have to move it forward in this case. So let's see what happens. I moved it forward a little, and now we're gonna tilt it, and that looks pretty good. I might be able to get it a little better, but that looks pretty good actually. So let's lock it in there. And now I have all of them locked in. The next thing that we're gonna do is I'm going to grab my phone and we're gonna connect this to the app that I downloaded for this gimbal, which is a DJI Ronin app, DJI Ronin app. And we're going to see what results we get when we try to calibrate it with the software. All right, so let me go ahead and grab my phone. I'm going to be pulling up on the screen the results that I get from this. I will be screen recording my phone. So just give it a second. All right, let's open up the app. Let's see if this is turned on. Want to hit the power button, turn it on. And it's already connected because I've connected before. And then I'm gonna go to balance test. And it tells you that you need to tilt this. Remember what we were just doing on the last? We were tilting it this way. So before I do that, I want to unlock every single axis. Let's see, is that all of it? There's one more here. All right, and you see the gimbal is not moving all crazy. That means it's stabilized. And then we're gonna hit begin test and let's see what we get. I gotta put this at an angle. You can see there that the gimbal is doing its test. It's moving the camera around. And I got my results. Tilt excellent, rotation excellent, everything is excellent. And this is actually awesome because this is the first time I get excellent on all three. When I started practicing with this, I got good, excellent, and excellent every time. So this is the first time that I get excellent on all three. This is now perfectly balanced. And what we're gonna do is I'm going to go outside and shoot some test footage with this gimbal and see what it's all about. It's gonna be some basic stuff, maybe some BRoll. Over the course of the next month or two, I have to really dig in and learn how to use this gimbal because it has a ton of features. And you know, this is something that I'm new to. I'm very excited for it. And so, yeah, I'll go ahead and shoot some BRoll and then we'll come back here and wrap up the video. baby. Say hi, mommy. Hi. Alright guys, that's it. I hope you found some value in today's video. If you did, please consider subscribing, sharing the video, and giving me a thumbs up. If you're not new to the channel and you're already subscribed, please consider hitting the notification bell so that you're notified every time I release a new video. And I'll see you guys in the next video. Peace.